What's going on, guys? So Gareth Southgate has made his England squad announcement for today for the Euros, and I would have made 5 or 6 changes at least to some of the players he's picked. For the goalkeepers, he's gone with 3. He's gone with Dean Henderson, Pickford and Johnson. Originally I was going with Pope, but obviously he's not going to be available, he's injured. So I would go with Pickford, and Henderson would be my backup. Johnson, you could argue who could be there as like third choice. But I'm not too mad at the goalkeeping positions because they kind of have sorted themselves out like naturally. So goalkeeping positions I've got no problems with. Defence though, we've got 10 defenders picked and we've only got 5 midfielders picked. That's a problem for me. That's double the amount of defenders to midfielders. That's a problem. And that shows how defensive that we're probably going to set up and play. And that's too cautious. This is why we've not got anywhere in tournaments before, because we play too cautious. We're too worried about other teams instead of focusing on what we can do. I've got an issue as well with some of the players. Like Maguire's been picked, and he may not even be fit for the tournament, let alone the first game, but for the whole tournament. So that's fishy and up in the air. He's picked Mings, he's picked Cody. For me, them two, they're not good enough to be backups. But the problem is we don't really have a lot of choice in centre-back positions for that level that you need. But I think Konsa at Aston Villa is better than Mings is, and he is English, so I would have gone with Konsa over Mings. Obviously Maguire and Stones will be the first choices, but Cody is not good enough for me either as a backup. Gomez would have probably been in the contention if he was fit as well, but he's been out all year too. So defence is a real big issue for me, but why have we picked 4 right-backs as well? What's that about? 3 at maximum, because if you play your first right back and he gets injured, you can put your second choice in, and then if your second choice gets injured, you've still got another defender to put in there, a right back. So 3 is plenty. Why we've gone with 4 is beyond me, and I can't understand it. So we've got Trent, and we've got Trippier, Walker and Reece James. You don't need that many for right back for one position. People saying Reece James can play in a centre-back position. I have not seen that myself, so I don't know what that talk is about. I'm not saying he can't, but I've not seen him do that. And I don't think a lot of people have. So this talk of him playing centre-back, look, I need to see it because I haven't seen that. Why we've got 4 in that position, as I said though, that's a major issue because by doing that, you've taken out of an extra midfielder you could put in or an extra attacker. So for me, I would have took 3 right backs and had an extra midfielder in there. But that's what he's done. The defenders we have got is he's gone with Trent, Maguire, Mings, Trippier, Walker, Cody, Chilwell, James, Shaw and Stones. Cody and Mings are very concerning for me because I don't think that they're good enough. I really don't. Midfield, we've only got 5, which I don't think enough people are talking about. 5 options in midfield. If we get a couple of injuries, we're screwed. Because you literally have just got the ones that could start the game unless you put one of the more attacking forwards back into the midfield and push them further back, which just doesn't work for me. So I don't understand why we've got so little midfielders to pick from. Ward-Prowse has missed out, Lingard has missed out, Mason Greenwood has missed out even though he'd be considered a forward. Ward-Prowse is a bit up in the air. I don't know if I would have took him, but for me, this is where the issue with the right-back situation comes in, because you've wasted a position there, at least one position where you could have an extra midfielder and take the likes of a Ward-Prowse or a Lingard. But he's messed it up, and now we're having to go off a minimum option. The midfielders we've gone with Henderson, Bellingham, Mount, Rice and Phillips. I probably would have took all of them, but I think you need more options. I would have probably took Ward-Prowse. I definitely would have took Jesse. You could argue that he's only played half the season or less, but in terms of confidence and form, he should be one of the first names on the team sheet, even if he doesn't start, just in terms of who you take. So I think Southgate has got that massively wrong. For me, I can't understand why Bamford isn't going. I've spoken about that previously. It baffles me. Ollie Watkins missed out as well. And also no one's talking about Mikel Antonio at West Ham as well, who has missed quite a portion of the season with injury, but when he's on form and he's fit, he's a problem for any team in the Premier League. So why he's not even been mentioned or considered? Again, why is Saka going? For me, yes, he's probably been one of Arsenal's better players, but for me he hasn't done enough to warrant a place in the squad. So Saka doesn't deserve to go. I don't think Rashford should be going. He's clearly not fit, and I think he's overrated. And this is coming from a Manchester United supporter. People go on about what he does off the pitch. I don't care. I'm here for your football ability, not for your off-the-field politic, flaunting, flexing. I don't care about that. So, look, the forwards for the most part I would have took, but I would have took Saka out and I would have took Rashford out and I would have put Bamford in and I would have put either Antonio or Watkins for the attackers in. And I think that Southgate's got that massively wrong because Rashford is not fit. If Greenwood's gone home today and it's because of injury, and that's what I'm hearing, then why is Rashford in the squad? Because he's even more injured than Greenwood is. It's clear. I've not noticed Greenwood playing injured for Manchester United all year, but yet they're saying that he's had an injury for most of the year. But Rashford's the one limping around every game, but yet he's going. Makes no sense. So Rashford and Saka would not be going for me. And I would put Bamford and probably Watkins in, but maybe Antonio. But Bamford would definitely be one of the ones that would go for me. As I said, we haven't got enough midfielders picked, I don't think. I think that's going to be a problem. We're going to pick up at least one injury in midfield, I reckon. And when that happens, we're going to have one extra to pick from maybe, if we're lucky. So I think the midfield options and numbers are wrong, and that's massively gone wrong because he's picked so many defenders. So we've gone very defensive again. Not happy with it. But why is, for me, like I said, Lingard should be going. He's played in the previous World Cup. He scored a vital goal in one of the games. So not only has he been involved in the team when they've been successful, he's been one of the goal scorers. It's not easy to score a goal in Champions League or your own domestic league, let alone at a World Cup on a massive stage. And he's done that, and he's still missed out. So it's a risk. If it pays off, then I can't say anything, but I know it won't pay off, and that's the issue. But Rashford is a big one for me. He really shouldn't be going. He needs to rest through the summer, going into the new season for Manchester United, because he's probably not even going to be fit now going into the new season, because they're going to overplay him again. Sterling, look, I would take Sterling on the bench, but even though City have run away with the league this year, I don't think Sterling's been one of the better players in their team. He's probably been one of the worst for me. So, in terms of form, again, Lingard, or Ward-Prowse, or Antonio, Bamford, Watkins, they're all performing. Maybe can't say Antonio because he's just come back from injury. But Watkins, Bamford, Lingard, Ward-Prowse, for me, they've all performed better than Sterling has. They've all performed better than Rashford has on a consistent game-to-game basis. Yet none of them are going. It baffles me. And I think we've shot ourselves in the foot with it, or Southgate has, because I would have picked a different lineup. I would have gone with probably half of the defenders. Why have we got 4 centre-backs? 2 of them aren't going to get injured. 1 of them might, but 2 won't. So you've picked an extra spot for a centre-back as well as the right-back position. That's massively messed up the rest of the options, especially in the midfield. So that is a huge issue. Not enough midfielders for me. And I think that's ultimately going to be where we pay our price. Look, we've got a talented squad, we really have, but for me, there's a lot of players that should be going on confidence and form that aren't. And I think we will suffer because of that. So, look, that's my thoughts on the Euros and the announcement today for our squad. I will be back for our first lineup against Croatia, and I will be showing you who I would go with for my starting lineup for the first game of the Euros. So that will be coming. You know, I've been waiting in anticipation for this to be announced, and I think he's got quite a few things wrong here. As I said, 5 or 6 players I would have took out of this easily. So we'll have to wait and see how we get on. He surprised me at the last World Cup, but we probably had a lucky draw, and we won't get that lucky again with teams that we have to play. As soon as we come up against the likes of Croatia in the later stage, or, do you know what I mean? We get shown up. People see through our weaknesses, so we can't hide. And I think some of these players that have been picked, it's going to prove what I'm saying is right. And not just what I'm saying, but other people will be feeling as well. So for me, concerning, I'm still excited. I love the Euros and I love the World Cups all the time, every time they come around. So, but I do think that he's got a lot wrong already before we've even entered the tournament. So that's my thoughts on it, guys. I'll be back, as I said, with my starting lineup for the first group game. So look out for that, and I'll be back soon, guys. I'll speak to you then.